The most basic tool that you're going to use with Connect is a meeting. It's your place on the web to both present and collaborate, and it's a flexible place that you'll set up before you really can do anything else. So let's dive right in and create our first meeting. Here in the Connect portal, I've got a tab for meetings, so I'm going to click it. If I have meetings set up, they'll appear down here. Since I don't, I'm going to click New Meeting. And this is where I can begin the process. I'll name my meeting. I'll give it a custom URL. Note that I can't have any spaces or special characters. It can be letters or numbers only. And the base URL, connectpro8443543.adobeconnect.com, is the base URL for everything. So all of the meetings that I have on this trial account are going to start with that /Tim's meeting. That's really handy because from now on, I can always refer to this as /Tim's meeting. A lot of corporations do that. In fact, when I'm setting up meetings for myself, all I do is tell my colleagues and friends and the people that I'm going to meet with, meet me in / whatever the meeting name is going to be. I can provide a summary. I'm not going to do that here. In fact, I don't generally do that, but if the meeting has a very specific purpose, it's not a bad idea to give it a summary. As I scroll down, there's a start time and a duration that frankly don't mean anything. One of the things that meetings in Connect are good for is their permanence. That meeting URL is always available. It doesn't matter what time I set. The time basically is something that I can set so that maybe I know when a particular meeting is supposed to start. But frankly, I rarely do anything with this. I'll leave it alone and it won't affect anything. Later, we'll learn how to create a meeting template. If I have meeting templates created, which I don't yet, I can choose from among them. That really probably doesn't mean much to you right now, so just hold on and we'll cover that later. However, I do want to take a look here. The access is something that we're going to learn more about later on for this particular meeting because I want anyone to be able to access it to whom I give the URL. I'm going to choose anyone who has the URL for the meeting can enter the room. And that means there's no passwords, there's no user account necessary. It's just a wide open meeting as long as you know the URL. And then finally, I'll want to determine the kind of audio that I'm going to use. If I have a conference call utility, or if I'm using something called Universal Voice, which we'll also cover later, I can choose that information here. Because this account is brand new and I have set none of that stuff up, the only options that I have are do not include any audio conference with this meeting, or I can select include audio conference details and put a phone number in, but this is in no way integrated with Connect. This is a separate audio conference utility, and by putting information in here, all I'm doing is just giving myself information about what audio conference solution I would use outside of Connect. We're going to talk about setting up different methods of using audio with Connect, including voice over IP. And so for this meeting, I'm just going to select do not include any audio conference with this meeting. And that way I can use voice over IP built into Connect. I don't have to worry about audio conferencing outside of Connect, and I'm basically done with my meeting setup, so I can go ahead and click Finish, and here is the information about the meeting. Now, at this point, I can surf around and find out other things about the meeting, but I really want to just dive right in. So to dive right in, I can either click on the URL here, or if I scroll down, there's a button that says Enter Meeting Room. Either will do exactly the same thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and click here. Connect loads up, and here we are. This is a Connect meeting room. It's based on a standard template that came with the 30-day trial. It has some information or some pods that I can use. We're going to cover all of that stuff later, but there's one more thing that you'll want to do for your first meeting to set yourself up. This meeting is happening inside the browser. As the person who's running the meeting, someone that you'll come to understand is called a host, wants to run this meeting outside of the browser for a couple of different reasons. And to do that, you're going to need to install the Connect add-in. Now, there's no Connect add-in install button that you can see in the interface here. So the quickest way to actually have Connect add it for you is to select Share My Screen. If you click on that, Adobe Flash is going to say, look, to use the application, you need the Adobe Connect add-in. Would you like to install it now? And the answer is, yes, I would. It literally takes just a few moments, and then the meeting is essentially handed over to the Connect add-in, and I'm working in my meeting in the way that I'll be working with it throughout the training and, frankly, throughout my use of Connect. So at this point, you're in your meeting room and you're ready to go, so you're ready for the rest of the training.